Hi, family. Welcome to this episode. Do you know that your health isn't just about diet and exercise? Your environment also affects your health as well. In this episode, we are looking at ways your environment affects your health. I repeat, ways your environment affects your health. That's right. Your environment plays a huge role in your immune system, mental health, and overall well-being. And way back in I think junior high school, social studies. In so many topics that we were treating, you would hear environmental factors. Environmental factors. In healthcare, too, your environment is also a huge factor and plays a very huge role in your overall well being. So let's look at this into detail. In 2023, the WHO found that exposure to air pollution alone contributes one in nine deaths, and this is air pollution alone. That's in 2023. So the first thing we are looking at is air pollution. And air pollution, basically, people living around factories, living closer to dump sites. And those of us in our homes, when we burn refuse, we pollute the air. And the more we do that, we are destroying the ozone layer as well. And that leads to greenhouse effects. So, in order to protect our environment, the world at large, and ourselves, we need to make sure we don't pollute the air so that the air we are taking in would be pure as possible to prevent diseases. And one thing that helps in purification of the air is tree planting. So we should try as much as we can to be planting more trees, planting more flowers and other things to purify the air we breathe. And now let's look at how your home's air might be at risk, making you sick. Mold and dust. One, this can trigger asthma, allergies, and respiratory infection. Household cleaners. Many contain chemicals and then VOCs that irritate the lungs and nervous system. Gas stoves. You know the smell that comes from these kitchenware. This kitchenware, that's the gas stoves. And the gas cylinder as well. And now let's look at some simple fixes to improve health quality. Get an air purifier, open windows on the regular, use natural cleaning agents rather than harsh chemicals. Keep plants indoors. Indoor plants also help in purifying our air. And now let's look at another thing very, very much important. The water you are drinking, is it really safe? Most of us assume that if water is clear, it's safe to drink. But this water being safe for drinking goes beyond the water being clear. There's something called pH. It's a scale. So water in itself should be neutral. It shouldn't be as acidic, neither should it be alkaline. So this is a bit scientific and more technical, but it's written most bottled, bottled drinking water products have it written on the, I don't know, they have this writings on it that indicate the pH. And there's a research from WHO which states that 2 billion people worldwide drink water with harmful substances. And we are looking at a population of about 8 billion. So 2 billion is about 25% of the world's population. The water we are drinking is unsafe. And now let's narrow it to Ghana. The rise of galamsey, illegal mining. These chemicals that are released into the water bodies, the cyanides, the mercury, etc. This is polluting our water bodies. And these same water bodies are what we dam, we purify, and then we pump into our various pipes for cooking, cleaning, and the rest. So when we do these things to our water bodies, we are in actual sense harming our own selves. And I think in the year 2022, 2023, I took a short course on toxicity, and the major focus was on illegal mining. So, and illegal mining and the effects of it. This in the long run could bring about deformities, various cancers, and to be real, it has already started in mining communities. Now, as we discuss this, it started in mining communities. So we should be careful of our practices, our mining practices, and how we handle stuff. And the continuous release of these chemicals into our lands even render our lands infertile. And there's something called relocation. When this continues for a long time, people in such areas would have to be relocated, and that would cost millions of dollars or millions of cedis. So, in order to avoid all this, we need to, I'm not saying we shouldn't mine, but we need to control and have sustainable ways of mining to protect ourselves and ourselves, our lands, and the nation as a whole. I'm not discussing illegal mining today, but this is just a bit of it because we are talking about water. And let's look at some, as I was saying, some hidden toxins in our water bodies. I'm now new to Ghana. We have lead, can leach from old pipes, and this can cause brain damage, especially in children. Lead, and this isn't separate from the mining chemicals. The mining chemicals can also do the same. Microplastics. These are found in bottled water and other things, and these ones also cause hormone disruption. And we have the chlorine and fluoride. This is used in water treatment, but too much exposure has been linked to thyroid problems and weakened bones. Now, let's look at some scientific evidence. A Harvard study found that exposure to PFAS in tap water increases risk of cancer, immune system damage, and fertility issues. Anything coming from Harvard is credible, right? So, the Environmental Working Group (EWG) reports that over 43 million Americans drink water with unsafe chemical levels, even in America. And this is Africa, Ghana. You can imagine the numbers here. Now, let's look at how to protect yourself. Get a water filter, use glass, stainless, or steel bottles. Check your local water quality. And now let's look at everyday products that harm your health. You might be shocked to learn that most common household items contain toxins that affect your hormones, brain, and even reproductive health. Top toxic offenders are non-stick cookware. They also call them Teflon. Releases PFA chemicals linked to cancer and thyroid disease. Scented candles and air fresheners contain phthalates, pH phthalates, which disrupt hormone and affect fertility. Plastic containers, they contain BPA, that's bisphenol A, which mimics estrogen and may lead to hormonal imbalances. Mattresses and furniture. Some have flame retardants that releases harmful chemicals into the air over time. And what science says, a study in the Journal of Endocrinology um, is linked with weight gain, mood disorders, and increased cancer. The National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences warns the pH phthalates in personal care products can lead to early puberty in children and reproductive issues in adults. So you see, there's a trend in all this information I'm giving. Reproductive health, reproductive health, reproductive health, and this should scare you. And now let's look at how to reduce exposure to these toxins. Yeah, use cast iron or steel rather than the non-stick product. Go for natural scents rather than synthetic ones. Avoid plastics as much as you can. Choose organic beddings. Noise pollution is also a health risk. Noise, causes imbalances. Sometimes you are stressed, you need to rest, and noises disrupt your rest. And not resting enough, you know what that brings. So, noise pollution is also not helpful. Now, let's look at one thing we often ignore, but very, very much important. We need to get more green in our environment and in our lives. What am I talking about? Tree planting, flower planting, the greens in our environment will save our life. And as the saying goes, when the last tree dies, the last person also dies. This is something short about our environment and our health. Thanks for being with us. Keep sticking with us. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the notification button so as not to miss any new upload. Thanks once again, and until next time, keep staying healthy.